Hello, good and wonderful people. This is Tessie Anointed Gabriel YouTube channel. If this is your first time of listening to this, please click on the red subscribe button down below, and also don't forget to click on the notification bell so that whenever we upload new videos, you will be updated. On the news today, $22.7 billion loan. Court told to stop President Buhari immediately. The coalition of opposition political parties, CUPP, has dragged President Muhammadu Buhari to court to stop him from borrowing the proposed $22.7 billion foreign loan. The lender's presidency and the National Assembly are also named in the suit, seeking to stop Buhari from accessing the loan. CUPP, in a statement signed and made available to Daily Post by its National Publicity Secretary, Ikenga Imo Oguchinyere, said the move to stop the borrowing was due to the alleged project lopsidedness, lack of financial prudence, security, alleged plan to use the loan for frivolous projects, overcosting of projects, corruption, misapplication, and incompetence. The coalition lambasted the Senate leadership, describing it as rubber stamp for forcing through approval of the loan, even without senators seeing the breakdown of the loan expenses as required by the law, adding that President Muhammadu Buhari needs ideas and competence and not the loan. The opposition political parties declared the loan as a plan to sell Nigeria into economic slavery and financial colonialism. CUPP, acting through one of the registered political parties / coalition members, said it has just commenced a legal offensive to stop the proposed borrowing of the sum of $22.7 billion by the Buhari government, and also written to request all the lenders to halt the loan request in view of the pending legal action. The opposition party said it views the loan being sought from various international lenders as a poorly executed plan to sell Nigeria into economic slavery and financial colonialism, for which Nigeria was redeemed by the President Olusegun Obasanjo administration. The statement added, "We declare that the loan request by the President is the greatest singular act of disservice any leader could have done to this country. The loan request is riddled with project lopsidedness, lack of financial prudence, secrecy, plan to use the loan for frivolous projects, overcutting of projects, corruption, misapplication, and incompetence. Nigerians must know that of this loan, consultants are expected to take an alleged whopping 40% of the loan, while projects are to purportedly take the remaining 60%. We have taken this patriotic action because we believe that the President Buhari-led corruption-weakened government is just sourcing for funds to consolidate the APC government looting jamboree and use the leftover to prosecute the 2020 general elections, and not for the pretense of infrastructural development which is shoddily presented to the National Assembly. We therefore condemn the rubber stamp leadership of the Senate for forcing through the approval of the loan by the Senate, even when senators had not seen the breakdown of the loan expenses as required by law. The Senate's leadership has clearly unambiguously shown it is not on the side of the people, and it is not representing the Nigerian people but their selfish interests. Their unpatriotic stand on national issues and lack of vision has become all the more apparent and have turned the Senate into a chamber filled by political hallelujah boys. Fellow Nigerians, the exchange rate of the dollar due to certain vagaries, including gross mismanagement of our economy, is now chasing 400 naira to a dollar. This means that at this rate, the $22.7 billion foreign loan will be equivalent of 9 trillion and 80 billion naira only. This is just more than the entire 2019 budget and just a little less than the entire 2020 budget. How can a government borrow its entire budget, yet citizens are in doubt as to the contents of the loan package? This loan request is at the height of Buhari's APC-led government insensitivity, irresponsibility, and wickedness. Fellow citizens, both indigenous and foreign experts have pointed out the unsustainable trajectory of our country's debts with the current upswing in borrowings. Nigerians will one day wake up to find out they are now tenants in their own houses. The Muhammadu Buhari regime would have sold our dear country to China and some nations in Europe. The opposition cannot sit and watch Buhari squander our present and our children's future. Our nation's leaders worked hard to clear Nigeria's foreign debts after the return of democracy in 1999, and opposition would not allow any government to plunge Nigeria back into another debt. It has become manifestly clear to the Nigerian people that what our President General Muhammadu Buhari needs is ideas and competent hands, and not the $22.7 billion foreign loan request. The problem with Nigeria is not lack of money, but lack of governance capacity in the regime, which from all available indices has made our economy worse. Security precarious and life very cheap. This regime is indeed a disaster. It is peopled by political hallelujah boys. We warn of the lack of capacity by the APC and their master, whose idea of Koboko economics is now outdated. It is a government high in sound but empty in ideas, parading students of home economics who grandstand as world-class economists. We have a government that is more interested in its uninhibited quest for power and holding onto power than knowing what to do with the power for the benefit of the people. After hijacking the parliament, emasculating the judiciary, and crushing the electoral process, Nigerians are now faced with the consequences of a regime that is hustling like traders in the Alaba markets for Chinese and other foreign loans. Nigeria has now been thrown into a state of economic hiatus and quagmire. This is a loan bazaar, a frivolous borrowing, unsustainable come and chop modern-day slavery. Unemployment, insecurity, crushing debt burden, unbridled corruption, the emasculation of government institutions, impunity, etc. are now the order of the day. Otherwise, how could a government want to borrow $500 million, which is the equivalent of 200 billion naira, only just to pump it into propaganda TV machinery called NTA? This is a television station that is not commercially viable, but only carries government propaganda, which the government does not even pay for. What then is the business plan for the recovery of this loan? Or is it the government comfortable to tell Nigerians that citizens should pay their propaganda? Let NTA be made viable by airing other views, and they will generate revenue like AIT, TVC channels, STV, etc. Allowing the loan will be condoning evil, most especially under a government which budgeted only about $500 million for its education sector, despite having over 15 million out-of-school children. Is for earmarking the same amount for just propaganda machinery upgrade. In view of the above, we call on the House of Representatives to redeem the image of the Nigerian Parliament, already compromised by the Senate, and serve as the true representative of the people by officially rejecting the dangerous loan request, or ensuring the proposal is revisited by ensuring project balancing, removal of frivolous items that cannot repay the loan, removal of the outrageous alleged 40% payable to consultants, and eventual reduction of the amount, and setting up of a mechanism to monitor the disbursement. All items that are not economically viable should be removed. In short, the House should focus more on the loan being rejected because it is economically evil. Nigerians must rise and stop General Buhari and his APC political hallelujah boys from plunging Nigeria into her worst economic crisis and bankruptcy. Furthermore, in view of the lopsidedness of the projects, the frivolous nature of some of the projects, the lack of evidence of the economic viability of the projects, inflated cost of the projects, lack of competency and transparency to monitor the loan disbursement, over-bloated costs to consultants, the Nigerian opposition coalition CUPP, in pursuit of public interest of Nigerians, including the unborn generation, who are the ones largely to pay for the avarice of this government today, launched multiple legal offensives with public interest suits filed at the Federal High Court seeking to stop the move by Buhari-led federal government to borrow away the future of Nigeria and sell Nigeria into economic slavery and redeemable financial hiatus with the $22.7 billion planned loan. The opposition has also written letters of petition to the foreign lenders to halt the process of continuing the consideration for the $22.7 billion loan. We have warned them to save their money for now and await the outcome of the court action, which we believe will put pay to this fiscally irresponsible move. Also, in view of this pendency of the court action and in total deference to Nigerian judicial sovereignty, we warn the foreign lenders, including their brokers and briefcase lobbyists, to suspend all actions pending the final determination of the suits, challenging the legality of the loan, and in the event of default or disrespect to our laws, which amounts to contempt. The opposition, if and when we come to power in 3 years, will not honor a borrowing bazaar that was consummated during the pendency of an action in courts. We have asked the court to grant the following prayers: a declaration that, having regard to the provisions of Section 19, 20, 21, 22, and 27 of the Debt Management Office Establishment Act, the first and second defendants, the federal government of Nigeria and President Buhari, while acting in concert with the third and fourth defendants, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Finance, cannot undertake any external loan or borrowing on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria without adhering to the National Borrowing Program for the succeeding financial year, as may be presented before and duly approved by the fifth defendant of the National Assembly. A declaration that is unconstitutional, unlawful, and ultra violates the executive powers of the second defendant, President Buhari, to undertake to borrow external loans or participate in the negotiation and acquisition of any external loan without the proper legislative framework and approval of the fifth defendant, in an openly debated, considered, and deliberated session of the Parliament, where the details of such external borrowing, project financing, and project repayment modalities will be openly debated and considered by the legislature. Guys, that is it on this news. There's no much to be said, and I don't want to waste your time anymore. The news is self-explanatory, so I would love you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Bye.